Coach Scott joining us now as the Spiders are 1-1 opening conference play. And Coach, I know you're good teammates with Lexus of Richmond.
Great people. Carl Burrell and his staff have, been, business associates of mine and my family for a long time. So I'm very appreciative of the things that those guys are able to do for us. It's a great partnership between the University of Richmond and Lexus.
Well, if you're a Spider fan, stop on out and see us. Once again, we're at Champs in Stony Point, brought to you by Lexus of Richmond. Coach, before I get to the Blue Hens, I would love to know your first impressions of the stadium. You've already had those, but your first impressions with the place packed.
Beautiful place, electric atmosphere. Our students started it off on Wednesday night with a pep rally where about 2,000 of them came out, and for the very first event in the stadium. But by the time we got to the stadium on Saturday, it was a great atmosphere, one of the best that we had ever been a part of. At the University of Richmond. Everybody came out early. They tailgated, they cheered. They wore red, did all the things that they could do to help us get over the hump down the stretch. And after we were able to pull it out, one of the most amazing things to see, were the students jumping out of the stands and kind of celebrating with their classmates. That's what college football is all about.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys certainly on the field know how to open up the joint.
Well, we planned it that way. We planned the overtimes and everything. That's what we told everybody.
Yeah, just stretch it out a little bit longer.
Exactly.
Like that Buffalo Wild Wings commercial.
No question.
Yeah, just keep it going. Coach, it has been said, in the way that game ended, it's been said, maybe sometimes as a cliche, that teams take on the personality of their skipper, their manager, their head coach. First impression of you don't let much get to you. And that's the way your team really seemed to close out that game against Elon, even when they came back and scored with no time in regulation.
Well, we tell these guys, I'd love for these guys to be a reflection of me and our staff. And our staff's one that's resilient. It's one that doesn't panic. And I think these kids are doing a great job of taking on our personalities. And if they can continue to do those things, I think we'll be successful. But, it's a group of guys who these seniors have won games before. They've played in overtime games before, and they've blocked kicks before. So all these scenarios that played out in the game have been situations that we practiced over the summer and that some of these older guys have been in before.
Here's Latrell Scott, head coach of the 1-1 Richmond Spiders. Got Delaware coming up this weekend. And we had Eric McBride on the show last week. And, while you would like the bye a little bit later on, give your guys time to rest, you had to plan to have it in week 2. When you had time to plan on how to use it, how did you make it beneficial to have that bye week in week 2?
Well, I think it was great, because you got a chance to go up and see Virginia. And, it was a great measuring stick for us. And obviously we didn't play very well. And we came back and we spent the first 2 days of the bye week just kind of focusing on Richmond, getting the things that we needed to get fixed at Richmond. And then we spent the last 2 days of the off week kind of working on Elon. And then it kind of gave us, 5 practices, versus getting 3. And I think it helped us down the stretch. Some of the things that we were able to do and some of the situations that we were able to encounter and manage during the game were situations that we had created for the team during the week.
You now roll into conference play, and I haven't seen Delaware play yet. I know you've seen them on film. But at just first glance, Pat Devlin and Andrew Pierce really got that offense kicking.
Well, no question. This entire league, from top to bottom, I think we've got 5 teams in the top 10 this week, and the players in this league are phenomenal. Devlin's a great quarterback. Pierce has come out of nowhere as a freshman, and he's the top running back in the conference right now, and the number 3 running back in the country. So Delaware's never lacked talent on offense or on defense, and been some great games between Delaware and Richmond in the last 5 years, and we don't expect this one to be any different.
How about your offense? I know you've been struggling to get all parties on the field.
Well, it'd be great to have them all, but I think our supporting cast has been great. All 3 receivers showed up at different points last week and made great plays in the game, but I think the supporting cast of young guys like Ben Edwards and, John Thompson and our tight ends, Sam Roller and Kevin Finney, and just our backs. Our backs have been able to catch the ball out of the backfield and do some things to just make sure that we have skilled guys that can make plays, and I think that's why you recruit. We have a next man up type of mentality. And, when guys go down, we just look for guys to step up and not miss a beat.
Right, because you got the talent. Trey Gray, Dante Boston's been banged up. Kevin's been banged up. But really looking at last week, the ball's getting spread around. You're working guys in there. I think it was 8 or 9 guys catching the ball last week from Aaron.
Exactly.
And John.
Yeah, I think in this offense, we use 2 quarterbacks and 8 receivers. So, it tells you the amount of talent that we have on this offense. And we'll continue to do things like that and just use our talent, to the best of our ability. We tell guys on offense, we don't care who they are. We want the best 5 skilled guys on the field.
Latrell Scott, the head coach of the Spiders on Sports Radio 910. Aaron Court had to leave that game for cramps. Is it odd to be practicing in the same temperatures that you got back in August?
Well, I just finished a workout myself today, and it's 90 degrees out there right now. We've got to make sure that we do a better job, as a staff and as a team of making sure that we begin our hydration on Sunday night. You can't get ready for a game on Thursday, so we've got to do a better job of taking care their bodies, for the duration of the week, and not just trying to get it all squeezed in on Thursday, Friday for a Saturday game. It's supposed to be hot this weekend, and I think playing in that type of heat last week, is just another step along the way to get us prepared. But we'll make sure that we're ready to go.
I'll let you. Let me get this one in before you go, because you said you got done a workout. From the coaching perspective, just had this story about Mark D'Antonio at Michigan State, heart attack at 54 years old. And the questions come up when these things happen about how much do head coaches have to work, the stress that's put on them. What was the best advice that you got going into being a head coach about coaching life and perspective and putting it all together as the head man?
Well, I think, one thing that's a valuable lesson that I learned, from Dave Clawson was to take time for myself, to take time for myself and take time for my family, and to make sure that I'm healthy, and to give my staff time, for themselves and their families, because it's a stressful job on top of it, And if you're here, 14, 15, 16 hours a day, you need to make sure that you're doing something to take care of your own body and your own mental health, and, giving you the ability to spend time with your family.
Have you, and I don't want to use the word overwhelming, that's not fair to say, but have you at times found it engulfing where you say, all right, I just need to go home, I need to take a break, or I just need to go to the weight room?
Yeah, there's sometimes that things go on throughout the course of the day. You get a phone call, you get an injury report, you get those things, and you got to take a half hour off. And, just sometimes when you sit there and you stare at video all day, you've got to step away from it to make sure that you're not making bad decisions just based on you being tired or mentally tired.
No, you spent enough downtime talking to me, and I appreciate it as always, Coach. 3:30, Delaware, Richmond, this Saturday, Robins Stadium. And if you haven't been, get out there, Coach. I will see you post-game on Saturday. All the best to you.
Thanks, Wes. Take care.
That's Latrell Scott, the head coach of the Spiders, kind enough to sit down with me